What's going on, everybody? I have taken a rather large leap. I made the decision to jump into the precision rifle game, I guess you could say. Basically what I have here is a Savage Model 10 TR. I'd been hunting around for bolt rifles for quite some time, really wanting to get into it. A lot of people I know shoot long distance. They're 300, 400, 500, 600 yard, all the way to 1,000-yard guys. And I really wanted to get into something, 400 yard, 300 yard kind of shooting. So I started doing some hunting around, as well as talking with my local gunsmith. And he pushed me towards the Savage 10 TR. So that's the model you see before you today. I'm sorry I'm free-handling the camera. I know a lot of people don't like that, but this rifle's a little big for me to set up on my tripod with the space I have available. So basically, I'm just going to go over the rifle, go over its features, as well as the accuracy, and just my general experience of it. So I hope you guys all enjoy. So I'm going to start from the front to the back with this rifle, and I'm just going to go over what I have on it, what I'm going to be doing to it, and just features of the rifle. So right up front is a threaded muzzle. It uses a 5/8 by 24 thread, so it's basically, you can mount any sort of muzzle brake that will fit a standard AR-10. I myself, I wanted to shoot this rifle without the muzzle brake, because I wanted to know exactly what the recoil was like. I've never... The only bolt rifles I've ever fired are something like a 260 Ackley 30-06. I've never actually personally fired a 308 bolt rifle. So I was curious. But going on, I'll go over the recoil shortly. Moving down, I've just got kind of just a cheapo bipod I bought at Canadian Tire. It mounts to the sling swivels on the bottom. It has two, so it has one up front and another one right behind it. One of which I would assume would be for a bipod mount. And you also have a sling swivel, or a sling mount at the back. Continuing our way, this specific model has a 20-inch barrel. It comes in 20 and 24 inches. I opted for the 20, which was also partially recommended to me by my local gunsmith. And it is a heavy barrel. Like, this thing is thick. It may not look good on camera, but it's a bull barrel. Standard Parkerized finish. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus on it. So this model, like I said, is chambered in 308. Right here, it's got a 0 MOA mount. It's just a standard Picatinny mount. The scope I have mounted on it is a Vortex Diamondback 4 to 12 optic. I'll grab the box. Oops. That's the scope that I have on it. Nice optic, I really like it. Savage logo. This guy has the Accu stock as well as Accu trigger. So the stock, they say, helps with recoil, and the trigger has it's very similar to a Glock-like trigger. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus on that. No, maybe not. But it's got a Glock-like tang on it. It's kind of one of the safety features. Working our way down, we have an oversized bolt handle. This thing is massive. I'll grab a bullet just to give you a size comparison. So that's a 308 round, and that's the size of the handle. It's a big handle. So if you do put this in a carrying case, make sure you have a flexible carrying case, because this could potentially cause problems. But it's got some very nice texturing on it. And I personally, I like it. I like the bolt handle. On the underside, if I can get it out with one hand, you've got a 4-round detachable box mag. The gun can hold 5 in total. You can also get 10-round detachable mags as well, which I probably will end up picking one up. Now this mag, some people don't like it because in order to load it, you actually have to rock it in backwards. So go from back to front kind of thing, and it'll snap into place. Now you can snap it in front to back, but it won't feed. It'll cause problems. and just to answer a question that I got when I first picked this rifle up, is can you have a full mag? So can you insert a mag that has 4 rounds in it and a 5th in the chamber? Can you insert it on a closed bolt? The answer to that question is yes, and it's actually not that difficult. It's actually quite easy to put a full mag on a closed bolt. Working our way back, we have a safety right here. I hope the lighting is not the greatest. I do apologize. So this is it's a 3-position safety. So you've got it on, right now it's on fire. And now just so people are aware, that right there is a snap cap. It's a red 308 snap cap. So the gun's not loaded. And there's a dog hair in my gun. So right now it's on fire. If I click it to the middle, so you see how the red button is half covered, that puts it on what's called half safe. So right now, it won't fire, but I can still cycle the bolt. Now, if I put the safety on full, bolt's locked. The bolt will not open. The bolt won't open, the gun won't fire, the gun is completely locked up. I think that's kind of a neat feature, actually. I actually like that, how you can actually lock the gun right up. Some people are very against that, but me personally, I think it's a good feature. I do like the position of the safety as well, because where it is, it's good. Like when you've got the rifle shouldered, it is very easy to just flick that on and off without any issue. And it's also very positive. I'll see if you can hear it. It's a very positive safety. Like you'll never accidentally nick that. Nice texturing on the grip, working our way back to stock. Now this butt pad, this is a great butt pad. Like, watch this. Let's see if I can... Like, it's a very soft rubberized butt pad, and it soaks up a lot of recoil. Now, talking about recoil on this gun, it does bite. Now, I have a feeling there are 308s out there that kick a hell of a lot more than this one, but this one actually handles the recoil really well. It's quite surprising, actually. That being said, the first day I went out with this gun, I fired 40 rounds of 308, and it was in fairly fast succession. By the end of it, I was hurting. I really was. So if you intend to shoot this gun, I would say more than 10 rounds at a time, get a break. I've got a hammerhead muzzle brake on the way for this, an AR-10 hammerhead, which I'm going to put on here and hopefully dissipate even more of the recoil. That being said, though, for a 308, like this thing really does not kick that bad. Its recoil impulse is actually very good. But that's that. I'm trying to think of anything else I can talk about on this gun. At least with the stuff that I have right now. There's a couple of tabletop reviews of them. Some of them are pretty good. Most of the reviews are just shooting. Not a lot of people giving close-ups of the gun. So that's kind of what I'm doing. There is a guy that did a video, the hunting gear guy. He's got a review on this gun as well. I suggest you check it out. He did a pretty good job on it. And he also touched on the accuracy. Now with his, he was having problems. Now, I saved my targets. I'm going to show you guys how I did with the rifle, and we'll compare it. But sit tight for 1 second, and I'm going to show you my targets. Okay, so I shot 10 rounds of each type of ammunition. I'll show you the ammunition and the targets as I go. Now, take this for what it is. I want to make sure this is very clear. I am not a marksman. I really am not. Like, most of the shooting that I do is inside of 100 yards. I've always been a shotgun AR-15 Tavor kind of guy. I definitely don't have the proper fundamentals to be considered what's like an actual marksman, so to speak. So just take this for what it is. This is how I did with the gun. And I can tell you for a fact, that gun is more accurate than I am. But I'll show you how I did. Overall, with some of the targets, I'm actually pretty happy. So the first, I fired in 2 sets of 5 rounds. So I fired 5 rounds at 50 and then 5 rounds at 100. If you're wondering why I fired at 50, I just wanted to get a feel for the gun and a feel for the ammunition. So up first was this Federal Power Shock, just a blue box 308, 150 grain soft point. I figured this would be a good baseline. This is a fairly cheap ammunition. Well, 308 in general is not that cheap in Canada, but this is the cheaper of the bunch. So 50 yards. That's acceptable for hunting. You could kill pretty much any animal with shots like that. So then I walked it out to 100, and this is where I started to get a little pissy. So the first 2 shots I fired are these 2 right here. So I'm looking through the scope, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, all right, not bad. I fired my 3rd shot. That was the 3rd. And I'm like, so I'm sitting there, I was like, okay, well, I must have pulled it. Like that's kind of ridiculous. Fired 4th shot, hit right there. Now I'm thinking, okay, like something's fucked up. I obviously can't shoot for shit because I can't blame the gun. The scope was mounted by a gunsmith. He cleaned it all out, got everything good. I trust the scope. I trust the gun. I figured it has to be me. 5th shot. I was like, okay, something's fucked up. I'm telling myself I have to be doing something wrong. So I went on to the next ammunition. So the next ammunition I used was Hornady's new line, the black 168 grain AMAX with the polymer tip. I've heard 168. Now, again, I know nothing about sniping, so if people can please comment on this and correct me on anything I'm saying that's wrong, please do so. I've heard 168 grains are kind of like one of the magic bullets for 308. Like 168s, especially for distance shooting, are generally a pretty good round. More or less, you want to go for a heavier load, but I've heard for inside 100 yards, 168s are pretty good. So that's the bullet there. That is a gorgeous round. All right. So 50 yards, Hornady black. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, 50 yards. I would actually expect better, but again, for me shooting, not bad. Little low, but just so everybody knows, while I'm talking about this now, I zeroed the scope. I zeroed that scope on this ammunition. I did not re-zero it for the next set of ammunition. I was more concerned just for kind of the accuracy of the round itself. I wasn't too concerned about where exactly the bullets were hitting. So you'll see some bullets down in the white kind of thing, but I was more concerned for consistency than I was accurate, or for bullseye shooting. So that's 50 yards. So, on to 100. Now we're talking. That's 4 shots. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. The 5th one, this was the last shot of the string. This was my very last shot of the day, and I was hurting. So when I fired that, as soon as I pulled the trigger, I immediately knew before I looked at the target, I was like, I fucked it. I was like, I know for a fact that was a bad shot. And there it was. So in this specific instance, I was, yeah, you know what, my bad. But that got me thinking about something. I was like, okay, so if I could be that accurate 100 yards with a shooter like me, with this ammo, why wasn't this stuff so good? I was like, okay, well, you know, it is Hornady. This was almost $40 for this 20 rounds, where this was $20 for 20 rounds. Okay, I can kind of see that. So now I have a baseline. The next ammunition I used was the Federal Fusion 168 grain, or sorry, 165 grain soft point, which is this bad boy right here. I wanted to go all over the spectrum with ammunition. I wanted to use match ammo, I wanted to use hunting ammo, I wanted to use ball, because I really wanted to just get a feel for the rifle. So these next sets of targets, these are on my 3rd outing shooting this rifle. So again, and I still didn't zero the gun. The gun at this point, after 3 range outings, is still zeroed for this ammunition. So again, 5 rounds right there. That's at 50 yards. That's not bad. I'm not unhappy about that. Now, at 100 yards, what the hell happened there? Started stringing to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, okay, again, it's got to be me. Like it's got to be. That's the only explanation I could put on that is I've got to be pulling these rounds. Because Fusion, generally speaking, from what I've heard, is a half decent ammo. It's more expensive than the blue box. But okay, yep, let's keep going. So went to the Federal Premier Match 168 grain using the Match King bullets, Match King boat tail hollow points. See, I had a feeling this was going to be a pretty good ammo. And that's the bullet. Tiny ass little hollow point there. So okay, 50 yards. Yeah, not too bad. 100 yards. This was actually kind of impressive. So If people are wondering what this oops is, so this is the 5 rounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5 rounds from the Federal Premium. I had 3 targets set up on each stand. And when I fired my next set of ammunition, I accidentally fired at the same target. So just ignore this. This is the Remington Premier ammo. This is just a Federal XM80 ball round, which I accidentally shot at the target. So, oopsie-daisy. But at 100 yards, again, with me shooting, I'm pretty happy with that. That's not bad. Now the Federal XM80. So this was kind of just a joke. 50 yards, just like this is military surplus ball ammo. 149 grain, like military surplus stuff. Like just literally just good old-fashioned ball ammo. So 50 yards, that's not overly impressive, but I'll take it. And 100. I honestly, I expected a little bit better out of ball ammo. I really did. I was kind of hoping it would do better than that, but again, with military ball ammo, like you shouldn't be expecting to get MOA out of military surplus ammunition. Or military ammo in general. Like, you gotta be using match or reloaded ammunition. And that's the next thing I want to touch on is this video was extremely expensive to make. Buying all this ammo like this. I bought 3 boxes of each, so, ouch. But, and I was shooting one day and people asked me, like, well, why don't you just reload? Why don't you just, like, I have no desire to reload. Now, I know for a fact, like, with hand loads, you can really tailor it to the gun, and you can get, with certain guns, you can get MOA accuracy at 200-300 yards. And I get that, but that's not the type of shooter that I am. And, like, as it stands right now, this ammunition and this ammunition will be more accurate than I ever can in that rifle. So, again, I bought this more as, like, a 300-yard gun, something. Like, you'll get those shooters out there that, like... Let me see if I can pull up a good target here. There'll be shooters out there that they'll do this. That'll be them at like 400 yards, and they're freaking out because that one bullet right there isn't touching the other ones. Like, they're just absolutely losing their goddamn mind. Now, with someone like me at 400 yards, even with this rifle, it would look like a shotgun hit it. Like, you'd be pellet there. And I'd be sitting there like, fuck yeah, I'm awesome, woo! Like that's my mindset, right? But so far, the gun really seems to like match ammunition. I don't know if it was me. Like, I'm gonna assume it was me, but with the 2 sets of soft point ammunition, I'm not happy with the accuracy of these rounds. Now, mind you, with hunting ammunition like this, you're generally not taking a shot past 50, 60 yards. And even at 100, most of those are probably still kill shots, hitting center mass. So I mean, you're not really out much, but I expected a little more, especially out of this. I expected a little more. I love how somebody tried to call me right in front of the video and it just friggin' shut my phone off. But yeah, I expected better out of this ammo. But you know what? Take it for what it is. I'm gonna go back to the rifle just for 1 second, and then I'll probably cut the video out. So with this specific rifle, this was actually originally a law enforcement only exclusive. And it was, I think it was only less than a year ago that they actually released these now for civilian use, which was kind of awesome. I like that. I'm going to show you guys the trigger, how the trigger is on this gun, and then I'll show you how to take the bolt out, probably call it a day. But this rifle is fairly heavy. This is not a light gun. So again, there is a snap cap in this gun, so let's safety off. It is a very crisp trigger. Like, that Accu trigger that Savage does is friggin' phenomenal. It is a great trigger. Now, to take the bolt out, the gun itself has to be cocked. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this with one hand, but I'll just show you. So, the gun itself has to be cocked. Up front here, there's a little lever. So, you have to use 2 fingers on this. So, you actually have to pull the trigger with your 1 finger, and then use this kind of secondary trigger. You can see how I can move it. Pull it with the second. So, oh no, the gun doesn't have to be cocked. It has to be dry fired, sorry. So, you pull the trigger, pull that tab, and then you can use your other hand and pull the bolt out. I wonder if I can get a line of sight down that scope and show you guys the reticle. You can kind of see it. It's nothing fancy. It's just a half-decent little optic. It's only a 4-12. I like the Vortex, one, because of their warranty, and two is, well, I've only ever really owned Vortex spread dots and scopes and stuff, and I guess I'm brand loyal. But this is an awesome gun, especially for the money. I'm going to keep experimenting with different types of ammunition, and I'm just going to play with it. But I just want to show people this rifle, and if you're in the market for a good alternative rifle, something other than Remington, like the guys that I'll be shooting with, they run, you know, custom 260 Ackley's. The one guy's got a friggin' Kydex, however you pronounce that, $7,000 gun. Now these are the same guys. Like I killed myself laughing the one day because I spent $750 plus taxes on this gun, so it's about almost a $900 gun. And that's just the gun. The 10-round magazines are about $100 a piece. I haven't been able to find extra Savage mags, the 4-rounders. The scope was $400. But a lot of like the precision marksman guys say you need to double the price of the rifle with a scope. So if you bought a $1,000 rifle, you should have a $2,000 scope. I told them to take a big slobbery suck of my cock because I'm not spending $1,800 on a scope for a gun that's not shooting past 300 yards. Sorry. For someone like me, a 4-12 is more than capable of that. But this is really new for me. Like, again, I am not a marksman. I am still very much learning all the stuff like this. But I had a lot of fun these last couple of days playing with this rifle, and I definitely think that long-distance shooting would be something I get into. I don't know if I would ever reload. Maybe way down the road I would consider it, but as it stands right now, match ammo is good enough for me. This isn't something I'll shoot every week. Anywho, this is the Savage Model 10TR. This is not an Axis. And this is a phenomenal gun. If you guys are in the market for an affordable 300-400, you know what? I've heard people stretching this thing out to 600 yards, the 20-inch barrel model. If you're looking for a good gun for excellent value, look no further than Savage. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you all next time.